Here we are. Hey, everybody, it's Johnny Beane. It's, what time is it? Is it 1:02 a.m.?
1:02 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time.
Wow. It's the latest we've ever been on.
But the earliest in our time.
Or the earliest.
An early start for me.
Yeah, we're on time.
Wait a minute. So is it March 8th or is it March 9th?
March 9th here.
It's March. Okay.
I'm reporting from the future for you guys.
Great. Let me know what the lotto numbers are.
That's right. I'll hit you up. I'm 5 hours ahead.
Awesome. Awesome. You're 8 hours ahead of me.
8 hours.
Yeah, that's like a whole. That's like a nap.
You've got the rest of the day to go yet.
I know. I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 5:03 p.m. out here in California, March 8th, 2019. This is Johnny Beane again. We got David Nesdahl.
Hey.
There he is, waving. Jay Hannon. Wow.
Hi.
Exceptional. Yeah.
And hey, Cameron Cooper. Hey, dude.
Hello. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo either. I'm the only one that's not wearing all black.
I was wearing green until just about 20 minutes before the show. I was like, I think I got to wear a black shirt.
As soon as I put on anything that isn't black, I get washed out. So, and also I just blend in with everything else around me. So it'd just be a head. So, like glad to be in black.
Like who was the in Pee-wee's Playhouse? Zombie.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. I'll just be a. There we go. Yeah. So welcome everybody. Let's see. Before I forget, subscribe to the channel here if you're brand new. We talk about guitars and gear and
Dalmatians.
Dalmatians. Yep. We were talking about Dalmatians yesterday.
We were. Man, what a blast.
You have one too, Cameron?
No, I don't. We have two spaniels here, and it's absolutely crazy. I'll tell you what, our dogs are dropping like flies at the minute. We had 4 until about 2 weeks ago, where 2 of our eldest just not gave up on us, but close to it. Well, our beagle had a very swift end, which was very sad, and our blind retriever, who was 14, just couldn't carry on anymore. And sadly, we had to let her go as well. But that's part and parcel of having a pet, I suppose. But now we have 2 little demons left who have barely noticed the absence of the other 2.
Yeah, we all have dogs here.
Over there. I'm sorry?
We all have dogs.
Oh, yes. What do you have?
I have a black lab pit bull mix and a chihuahua.
That's quite the combo. Which is the chihuahua in charge?
Kind of, but still very sweet. It's not. She's not an angry chihuahua.
Oh, nice. That's a pleasant thing for that lab. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. We love all animals. I've got a cat. I've got 10 chickens. So yeah.
That's a bombshell. I wasn't expecting that.
I know. Usually in the middle of these videos, I got to split and like shut them in for the night. You know, when it starts to get dark.
Oh, you should have got them in. Can you imagine if they were just about behind you, just wandering around?
That'd be great. That'd be great. But they make a horrible mess, just nonstop. Because all they do is eat. That's all they do. All they do is eat and crap.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Sounds good to me. Hey, Cameron, do you know an Angus Cooper?
I do.
Okay,
I certainly do. He's my identical twin. Oh God, he's here.
The other Cooper.
Yeah, he's my identical twin brother.
Wait, you have an identical twin?
Yes, I do.
So wait, how do we know?
You got to have him come in so we can.
How do we know you're you? How do we know you're not Angus?
Yeah.
I'll play a guitar and check.
It could be the Johnny Beane trap. Like like the Parent Trap, the movie The Parent Trap.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The Johnny Beane trap.
Johnny Beane trap. Yes. Look at the chat. Wow, very, very active chat going on here. I just noticed.
Yeah, it goes faster than fast.
So before we get to you, does your brother play any instruments?
He plays bass, not so much anymore, but he does play bass. Yeah.
No, he doesn't play an instrument.
Damn.
Oh.
Zing.
And we've only been live 8 minutes. We're already dropping bombshells like this. I'm sorry, Angus. Get used to it.
I apologize.
You're in for a tough night.
I'm the token airhead dingbat. So.
Yeah, you don't even have a bass, do you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
You got 200 guitars.
I have a bass.
And a bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every guitar player should have a bass.
If you had a list,
every bass player should never play guitar.
Oh.
Unless you're Billy Sheehan and you can just wow everybody.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
There you go. Yeah. So what? So who's in the chat? Who wants to take it?
Who we
go ahead,
got
Rob.
here?
I mean, Jay. Go ahead, Jay. Rob, Jay.
No, now that you got my name wrong, now I'm not reading it.
Go ahead. No, you do it the best.
No, all right. David Ennis, Brennan Buttcheeks, thrash metal and fun riffs. Ben Coombs. We got. Is that Bruce? I think Bruce is here. Scott Nickerson, Nightbot, who just takes over the chat. RG the Mad One. I'm slow tonight, guys. I apologize. Fender Guru, what's happening? Angus Cooper again. Howdy.
Yeah. Welcome, Angus.
He'll be back. He'll be like the recurring thing in the chat. You'll come up at some point. You'll steer us through.
Dennis Briol. That sounds like a hockey player's name, doesn't it?
Does it?
Clayton James Hicks. The new guitarist, 7/8 is here. Hi, myself. James Gum. Come on. Am I really leaving anybody here? Dan of New Jersey. Hi there. 802 Blues. Guitarded, one of my favorite names, besides Brendan Buttcheeks, of course. Mitch Heyman. Frank C. I Rock the Blues. And everybody else. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
And the
comment again, and we'll see your name, and Johnny will read it and say hi.
Hey, Shauna Marie Sings. Good to see you.
Yeah, Shauna. Hello.
Yeah. So what's going on? What's Cameron, dude?
Yes. Sorry, I'm reading this chat. It's going through like crazy.
Man. So what's your story, man?
My story from very first beginnings of getting into the guitar. Well, I started when I was 4. The very first moments of me playing the guitar when my dad bought me, I think maybe just after my birthday, we came home to 2 Squire mini strats, the baby mini strats that you can get. And I got started on one of those where all I could really play, I don't think I even had an amp at that point, or if it was one of those sort of micro stack Marshall things. And all I could really play on that was, in essence, a pick scratch and just a slide. And just the idea that you were making a noise and getting a reaction out of someone, even if it was "shut up, please," it was kind of fun. So I tried to pick up various chords and different ideas. I actually learned a power chord very quickly. Just with the index and the little finger, which I suppose was a boost, but I didn't really know how to use it properly, given I was probably 4 or 5. And around that age, I didn't really have the attention span to really stick at it. So I was constantly jumping about from thing to thing. I quit several times until the age of probably about 9. And I came home one day from school. My dad, a lad, was a player of the guitar for many years, and is probably my biggest hero when it comes to the guitar. I would never have gotten into it if it wasn't for him.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
I think up until that point, he'd always been motivating me to carry on going because he had a Music Man Axis. He actually had the first Music Man Axis to come into Europe, and it was the one that was reviewed in Guitarist magazine. And when you're a kid that age, you don't really tend to think about the value of a guitar as such. You're just slightly dazzled by whether it be its color or just the look of something very, very expensive sat in the corner of the room. And I was constantly trying to pick it up, or I'd watch Dad play it or whatever. And I just really, really loved it. And the moment where I really stuck at it from a very early age was going back for a second, probably about 5 or 6, where he was playing through, I think it might have been a Boss multi-effects unit, not through an amp as such, but he's playing through headphones or whatever in the living room. I'm sat on the floor where everything's huge around you and you're just bewildered by everything. And he gave me the headphones and I think played maybe, I don't know, 8 Talking About Love or Panama or something of that ilk. It's probably Panama actually. And that was it. It was just the idea of doing something like that, interesting to the ears and that pleasing with your hands, and it gave me that reaction. Had to stick at it. Anyway, moving forward, I came home from school when I was about 9 to find in the house a Mexican standard Strat. Mysteriously, the 2 mini Squier Strats had gone, and instead there was a single Mexican Strat in the living room, and it was in the color Flip Flop. And if you don't know, are you aware of the color Flip Flop at all? It was a limited color. No, don't worry. Everyone goes, what? When people first see it. It's a, in essence, a flake finish that has a special kind of lacquer over the top, which allows the finish to change color in the light. So primarily, it's like a subtle sort of green flake, but depending on the light, it will change into either a, like a sort of really dark sapphire blue, or in some cases like this deep metallic purple here. It changed color in the light, and depending on the angle you saw it, it'd be all 3 colors at once. It was awesome, matching headstock. It was a limited edition Strat, and I was completely hooked. I'd learn everything from AC/DC to some ZZ Top. If I was very confident, maybe a bit of Rainbow or Deep Purple played wrong, but it was a lot of fun. Moving on, things progressed. I was really getting into AC/DC and ZZ Top. One of my main riffs of that time was My Head's in Mississippi by ZZ Top, you know, off the Recycler album. I just love that because it was played with your fingers. You didn't need a pick for it, and you didn't really need to do that much. And also, it taught me my very first bend in the pentatonic scale, not knowing that at that point. And there was by AC/DC, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, where I learned, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear this, I'm not plugged in, but I was able to play the infamous G, D, A, and all the power chord shapes. And they were sort of my most educational songs. And I was learning to build and build and build on my technique from there, and things just escalated from there on. And my dad, I think as I got older, sort of didn't want to play quite so much. I carried on, and he started to, instead as opposed to play loads of guitars, he started to collect a lot. And we ended up with an Ash Deluxe Stratocaster, which inspired me to carry on going. And then, sorry, I'm going on a bit of a gear tangent here.
No, this is good. This is good.
Yeah, we like it.
But it's part of that story where the gear inspires you to keep going. So we had an Ash Deluxe for a long time, an Ash Deluxe Strat in aged cherry sunburst with, God, a while ago now. I think it was a 2007 or 8, one or the other. I can't remember now, but it was a really, really posh guitar for the time. It was a very top of the range, and the way he got that was, I think he was meant to buy something else, and the shop screwed up and sent him that for a much cheaper price. And the shop went, okay, we screwed up, you can have it on a cheaper price because we made a mistake. And I was like, yes, please. So we had that for a good while, and I think I kept on playing on the Flip Flop Strat until I was probably about, I don't know, 13, 14, and also had the Ash Deluxe, to which point I got competent enough to get something else. And I was bought for my, I think it was 13th or 14th birthday, a Big Apple Strat, which is the 1997 Big Apple Strat in Candy Apple Red with the Pearly Gates Plus in the bridge and the 59 in the neck. And that was my first sort of top of the range, sort of high end guitar, if you like, which wasn't really, well, it was bought for me, if that makes sense. The other two were just bought as guitars around the house, and I was totally into it from there on. I learned so much on the Big Apple Strat and really, really love it. And it's still the most expensive guitar I own. From there on, I carried on playing with, whether it be Ozzy, Van Halen, which I'd all discovered by this point, everything from the finger tapping to various things. I was even trying to learn things like Mean Streets dead early on. Trust me, you wouldn't have wanted to have been within hearing distance of my bedroom at that age. It would have been, how they put up with me, I do not know, to be honest. It just miracles. Their tolerance is incredible. But the time progressed, and it came to, I think it was my 15th birthday, and the Japanese Charvel plant or whatever was closing down, and they were selling all of the Japanese Charvels off whatever stores they were in the UK on discount. There was like a clearance sale, and that's where this guitar showed up. This is my candy blue Sandemus, made in Japan, and you can't get this stuff no more. If you saw what I did there.
Guitar.
It's an amazing guitar. I really, really love it. It was my first Charvel, and I played this guitar to death. It's literally, I'm actually wearing the frets out on it. It's really, really good, and it's just an absolute monster. And although I've got a fair few Charvels now for myself, this one still has a very unique tone to it. My dad, whenever he hears it, describes it as a guitar with a lot of bite. With a raw edge. Basically, obviously, you've got the Seymour Duncan screwed straight into the body. It's a really light guitar as well. It's just an awesome guitar to play. And then this guitar just took me on to new things, and that's how I ended up more or less here. It was this guitar that got me into, or taught me, or if you like, I did all my learning on, so to speak, whether it be in my sort of teenage years, whether it be learning Ozzy or Van Halen, Steel Panther, or whoever it may be. It was just the guitar I did all the learning on. So this is my beast, really. And
Nice.
I absolutely love it. And I've carried on until the present day with Charvels, and this is where I'm at. Obviously, EVH has come into my life as well. So it's just happy times, as Borat would say.
Man,
there we go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's yeah.
So you no lessons or anything as far as like real lessons besides just
No, I never took lessons. No, my dad was sort of, if I was Pinocchio, my dad was the Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder, sort of pushing me in the right direction, and really showing me what was what and what sounded right to him. My dad had a very balanced musical diet, and it all my taste in rock obviously came, well, I say obviously, it did mainly come from him. And wherever dad steered me along, whether it be learning a riff in a certain way, or maybe a certain rhythmic touch, or the majority of it was all done by ear. Although a lot of my playing and my musical discoveries have come from YouTube, I tried to avoid becoming dependent on it. I knew that if I kept on going on it to watch people do things, I'd become dependent on it. And I thought if I did become dependent on it, I'd then lose or have a really weak ability to listen to things and pick things up. So instead, I did what I could to learn everything I could from songs and albums. And I learned Crazy Train by ear, and for instance, a lot of other tracks, whether it be Whitesnake, everything came by ear in essence. And often I'd find, when I did go online, eventually YouTube, to see if I was doing it right, I'd often, 9 times out of 10, I'd be doing it wrong. So in essence, I'd be teaching myself the wrong ideas, or the riffs wrong, or another way of playing them in my own style. So it had its own benefits. So if anyone's watching who's finding themselves doing that, you're not alone. I did it. I was learning things like I learned Humans Being by Van Halen wrong. For the longest time, I was actually playing it in this sort of power chord position up here, where it's literally go. that I was actually playing it wrong, whereas instead it's that sort of major shape. Oh. That sort of idea. So it just goes to show, the more you listen to things, the more you pick things up, it's your ears that tell the truth, not always.
Well, I know you probably realize that, but I mean, Eddie's stuff, you know, trying to pick a lot of his stuff out, you'll notice that when you listen to a song all the way through, it's like, yeah, it's the same part, but he's little tiny things he changes throughout it, and little nuances he throws in. You're like, crap, I just learned it this way. Now he throws this extra little something in there, and
just to annoy the guitar players who he knows are listening now. There's an element where I think he knew, obviously, no one would be able to certainly at the time anyway, he knew no one would be able to figure out Van Halen 1 and 2, I don't think, properly. And he knew that he was on the top of his game immediately. And then it wasn't until I think the maybe mid-'80s to late 80s, and then Sammy Hagar times, he really started to think even more technically to serve the song and to become even more innovative, hence with the sort of volume swells and all the other things he did with his effects. Because I think he just knew, let's do everything that every guitar player can't play. Although I learned a lot of things under the sort of umbrella of Van Halen, obviously Van Halen, Steel Panther, and everything else, the stuff that I still find really strains my skills, although I love them, is J.K. Lee. I have to say, I'm learning at the moment for a video my favorite riffs from The Ultimate Sin, which means revisiting the album and taking everything apart again. And I have never underestimated a riff so foolishly until Shot in the Dark. That sounds like a really easy riff generally to the ear, I think, as a guitarist. Man, that is a hard song to actually play properly, and I really had to sit and work it out. It's got some of the weirdest chord shapes in, and the actual timing of it, it's a really tough riff, as is, full enough, the song Never off that album. J.K. Lee is like my Eddie Van Halen. That's a very bold statement, I'm sorry, but it's
nothing wrong with that. Jake's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. Totally love that stuff.
Your brother said then your life changed when you got the Yamaha THR 10X.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't believe I cut that out. I was talking about guitars the whole time. Literally, I got the Yamaha as soon as I finished high school.
Well, how old are you right now? I'm trying to gauge.
I'm 21, so I got the Yamaha THR 10X when I was 16. Yeah, so 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Time flies. And I went from a PV Viper 100 to this, which was the Yamaha THR 10X, which was indeed a lot smaller, and it just did everything that I wanted.
A lot better sounding.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing thing. This little amp, I've got it right here, hence why I'm looking down here. It's got I just built my entire following with it. Even if it wasn't the main focus point, it was everything I could ever possibly dream of. It was my interface. I did all of my learning through it, whether it be just looking for the perfect guitar tones. It's just my jam. What can I say? Whenever I've done an EVH sort of 5150 video where I've had to mic it all up, I've used the THR 10X as my interface. I don't own a Focusrite or anything like that. The Yamaha has been my interface for it. So it's just done everything I could ever possibly wish for. I've even played live with it which is going to sound a bit strange. In uni, I did a music business degree with the Uni of Sussex. And for one of our modules one year, we needed to get a sort of band together to do sound checks with. And being on the business course, which I didn't actually do the musicianship course. They were trying to draw musicians out of the hat, and no one would do it. And you know that you get that one moment in class where I wasn't normally the kid who'd volunteer for stuff quite like this, but you know when it's like, who plays in here? Show your hands. And before anyone could even raise their hands, everyone just turned around and looks at me and some other musicians that are in the room. So it was just, all right, guys, I guess it's us, isn't it? So we formed a sort of live band right there in the class. And we didn't really have any, at the time when this was going on, any proper amps to go through. So what was agreed was I'd go back home, I'd get my Yamaha, and we'd mic it up at the side of the stage and use it as the sort of micro sort of amp for the show. And it sounded awesome. I was so surprised. We had two SM57s jutted right up against it, and it was coming out of the mountains. It was really, really strong amp. Until it literally, you couldn't crank it on its own to get above a drummer. That's a huge mistake. But it really did sound good for what you needed for. If you got that coming back through the monitor, it's a mini sort of fly rig, if you like, just a Yamaha THR-10X mic'd up. You've sorted. It's a great amp.
3 out of the 4 of us have that amp.
Really?
It's great, man.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have the amp?
Yeah, it's that amp is so cool, man. It's so awesome. Yeah, I gotta get one.
Definitely check them out. They're dead good. I to be honest, I have sneaking suspicions they're going to stop making the THR-10X soon and replace it with something else, because they've got the THR-100 now, the HD. And although the THR-10 mini amps are dead popular, I think it's the white one that most people go for because it's sort of jack of all trades. So if you're going to get the THR-10X, I'd try and get one now before they bring something else out, because I think they really hit it on the head with these. They absolutely nailed it. But like with any company, well, not any company, but like many companies that do this, they'll make a great product. They'll take all the feedback from it over the years, and then they'll come out with something that they think is totally utterly amazing, and it's not quite as good.
Happens all the time, man. Yep.
But just to people like, so yeah, the THR-10s are just the business.
Yep.
Perfect.
Man, I hate it when something that's so awesome changes and it's not as good, and they think it's still good and it's not.
It's the worst thing. It's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Well, our buddy Fender Guru in the chat says that he got his Yamaha because of you, Cam. So call Yamaha and say, hey, I'm selling these things for you guys.
I'll tell you what, I actually did. One of the things that got me the gig with Charvel is I was running out surveys just to see, because a lot of people seem to be saying that they're buying guitars because of me. How many of you actually bought one? Anyway, I ran out surveys. I was selling quite a lot of money's worth. I think I'd sold, by the time I'd done this survey, it was about 70 grand's worth in guitars. Like shit, and that was just the people who picked up on the surveys. I'm thinking, God damn, that's insane. So what I ended up doing as well was I ran a little survey out with the Yamaha, and I got more respondents for the Yamaha survey. I think about 400 people participated, and I think it was something crazy like 30% of those said they had bought one. But when you add all the monies up, and keep in mind the practice time, I think it's about £200. It equated to something about 30 grand, 35 grand worth of revenue of just Yamaha amps, and no one would get back to me. I absolutely spammed everyone at marketing at Yamaha, and I was like, come on, guys. But oh well, not that.
Now you got to call a different amp company and have it sitting behind you, and then you can still use the Yamaha off to the side, but say it's this, you know.
I'll be the ultimate sort of deceiving marketer, like influencer. I lied.
Yeah.
This whole time it was actually an EVH 5150. You never saw it, you never heard it.
Well, Frank McNail says that he bought one because of you. And
Maybe,
hey, maybe I should call him too, because Scott Nickerson said he bought it because of me. So let's both call him.
I bought mine because of you.
Yeah, well, this Mark is like we're like the YouTube front line. We're plowing the path. You're doing it stateside. I'm doing it in the UK and Europe.
Now I'm gonna have to buy one because of the three of you.
Yeah, man, get on it. Join the THR-10 party. It's insane.
As soon as Johnny gets one, they'll come out with the new one.
We'll all sell ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all pretend to be put off and just sell them all. Yeah.
And shout out Frank McNail. He sent me a message as well earlier saying that he bought one of those amps because of your demo, I think is what he said. I think.
Oh yeah.
Something. He said something to me. Anyway, Frank, shout out.
Did you just say shut up?
Frank, shut up.
Come on.
Frank, shut up.
So Cameron, what made you all of a sudden start to do the like the guitar videos on YouTube and stuff?
Where that came about was it sounds really stupid, but I was on YouTube all the time, and I thought I could have a piece of this, I think. And I also wanted to try and do it just to get some feedback. You know, when I first started uploading, I did it just to see what other people thought, because I was in school and throughout my sort of childhood, I never really had any musical friends. So I thought, let's try and break away from it and try and forge my own thing online. And I started with, I think, 1 or 2 sort of lick lessons that I enjoyed, and maybe 1 or 2 gig videos. And I just wanted to get some feedback from that, and it just carried on. I think the videos that really made it was my Lick of the Week series in the beginning, where I was covering everyone from Satchel, Gus G, Andy James, Steve Vai. I was covering loads of different guitarists, and people started to send in requests and show me new ideas, or new guitar players, I should say, to give me influence. And it started to become a little bit of a cycle where I was thinking, I could actually build a little bit of a following through this, because one of the original intentions as well, before I get ahead of myself, was to try and find bandmates through it, just to see if there was anyone out there who'd be interested in doing what I was doing. But not knowing, I almost underestimated how many people were on YouTube, thinking, who's going to actually get into this? And the majority of my fans are stateside. I think it's something crazy about, I think 70% of my fans are stateside. The remaining sort of little pockets come from either South America or Germany, and then the odd sort of you'll get Japanese fans and everything else, and then UK. So you'd be surprised.
Wow.
God, I really waffled on there. So yeah, it was about finding bandmates in the beginning, but then it took off into something else.
So you never found bandmates, huh?
No, but here's the thing. Today, since it's 1:30, I can say today now, I'm actually going to be meeting at 2 p.m. or thereabouts a potential singer to form something with. So it's coming together. It's coming together after 5 years.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wait,
Awesome.
right now, just the guitarist and singer? That's really odd, because usually it's like the singer's the last thing that anybody can find, you know?
It's what's lucky with this. It's the weirdest story. I've actually not met this guy in person yet, but it's quite freaky how this came about, as in small world. I had I've got, obviously, my following grew. I'm on Instagram, although my following on Instagram is minute compared to YouTube now. And I had, I think it was back in December, I posted a story of a really expensive car dealership near my hometown. It's actually a town called Wilmslow, and it's known for all of your sort of Premiership footballers and overall very, very rich people. But there happens to be right in the middle of the high street there, the sort of center of town, a really mega expensive car dealer, particularly Aston Martins, McLarens, and everything else. And this particular subscriber got in touch saying, "Oh, I recognize that place. You're from there or whatever." "Oh, I lived in this particular town called Macclesfield for a very long time." Macclesfield's where Joy Division came from, and New Order, and I'm from around there. And he happened to say, "Oh, I'm from around there." And I thought, wow, this guy happens to be so local, this could be useful. And I told him straight up where I was from, and it turned out that for the longest time he went to the same not the same high school, he went to a high school just around the corner from where I was, lived a couple of streets away from me, and had been subscribed to me since I started the channel, and we'd never crossed paths ever. And we're now potentially meeting and forming a band, which is amazing. He plays an EVH Wolfgang, which is extra sweet. He sounds really, really awesome. He's a great singer, and also is in a band already. So yeah, there are potential other bandmates there I could mix him with. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. We're going to try and work something out, because I've got a load of original material. I just need to I need some extra hands to help put it out there now, because I've got loads of guitarists down. I've got somewhere within the region of 10 to 20 tracks down in their own way. But it's there are certain songs that require greater expertise, whether it be bass players, drummers, and of course singers. So it's all down to, let's get a team together now. Let's not, because I didn't like the idea of me being a solo artist fully enough. I've never enjoyed that idea, and I don't see myself as an instrumentalist, although I reckon I could write some. So I think now is the time to form a band and really try and get some feelers out there and get gigging, get having some fun. It should be a lot of.
That's always great. Gigging is a good thing.
Slight adjustment there. There we go.
And yeah, working with other musicians. That really is the best. You know, there's so much you can do on your own, and it's just getting ideas from other people, or having somebody, you know, giving them a part and having them do their own thing to it. It really, it's really,
it makes
awesome.
a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll tell you what, the one thing I did actually hear, there's a clinic on YouTube somewhere of Satchel playing where he sort of tones down a little bit and gets quite serious, where he says, how often do you hear about your favorite band breaking up or whatever because the members have fallen out, whether it be over money or just simply didn't get on? One of the main reasons I think for Steel Panther's success, although they're very niche, you could say now, given what they do, it was all down to the chemistry of the four of them. They knew each other for a long time. They just got on so well and were a very effective team. And they stuck by each other. It was like not to sound too cliche, but a brotherhood, if you could say that.
Exactly.
And they could just soldier on right through, knowing that they all had each other's back. Although, after having met the guys a few times, Satchel is the guy in charge.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
They very much are a team and need each other. Yeah, they're all virtually expendable. It's inexpendable, I should say. Excuse me.
Johnny will have to edit that clip just so it cuts off after you say they're all expendable, and we'll send it to him.
Oh, it'll be worth thousands in blackmail money now.
You guys are wonderful, but you suck at the same time.
Oh
man,
I take that all back. I mean, literally, they were just amazing. They were so good to me as well. They got me on stage once, which was just another crazy night in itself. I could not believe that night.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because our friend R2R3 Locking Nut asks Cameron how he landed the solo spot on the Steel Panther concert. So it's perfect timing.
Oh, cool.
Isn't there a YouTube video of that?
There is, yeah. It's one of my most popular viewed videos. It's got about 80,000 hits or something like that now.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was awesome playing.
Thank you very much. Literally, the way that all came about was I, in essence, did the VIP meet and greet with them and asked, in essence. I'd already been shared online. On YouTube by Michael Starr for covering a lot of Steel Panther's solos, and Satchel was a huge inspiration on my playing. I mean, a huge way. And when I got to the sort of lineup where you go in to meet them, I pretty much asked straight up to make a long story very short. Satchel, could I play a track? And he looked at the other band members and went, I don't know about you guys, but I'm down for that. And I'm looking at my brother going, shit, it was that easy. No. And anyway, he agreed to do it. And he goes, what tracks do you know? And at that particular time, I pretty much had the whole set down, including a lot of the new album material. Of course, they've never let me up for a new album song. Anyway, the lineup's over. I get filtered out back through into the sort of lobby area where we're all waiting. I'm completely and utterly starstruck for one, and terrified at the same time, thinking that could not possibly happen at all. I mean, what luck. Anyway, we get down, the meet and greet's over, we go into the venue and the gig starts. It just all proceeds as normal. They said they'd try and work me into the first half of the set, and the ideal track for me was to play Asian Hooker live. I love the guitar solo, I love the riff, and the song is just evil. It's fantastic, and I really, really love that. So I wanted to try and get on and play that. And although that kind of fell through and we thought it wasn't going to happen, there was various sort of exchanges of eye contact throughout the show. I'm on the barrier, everything else, but then it got to
hey guys, can I come on stage now? Can I?
It pretty much became to that point where it came to, I think it was 17 girls in a row at the end of the set. I think it's second to last track that I remember, either second or third to last track. And I pretty much said, I know this, guys, come on. And they basically said, all right, let's give them a shot. And they pulled me up, in essence, and they were really, really good to me that night. And I have to say, as soon as I got up there, that was the only track, or one of two, I should say, I hadn't prepared at all, thinking that because all the girls were on stage, it'd be a song I'd never do. And as soon as I got up thinking, oh, I'm there going, fantastic, I'm up, I made it. But what luck, I've got a song I don't really remember now. I hadn't played the song for about 4 months prior to that gig. And I'm literally going through the whole track after it started going, in my head, don't fuck this up. Please don't screw up. Please don't screw up. Oh, shit, we've got this chord change coming up now. We've got this, we've got that. I'm deaf from the show, so I can't hear anything coming out the monitors. Satchel's got in-ears, so he can hear everything. And I wasn't actually scared of playing in front of a 3,000, 4,000 member audience. I was more scared about playing in front of Satchel, who stood there.
Mm-hmm.
I was more worried about that more than anything else, and cocking up and ruining the whole night for everybody. But we got through the song thereabouts, and I was overall very lucky, generally, as a person, not only for getting on stage and doing that, but just managed to get through a track I didn't really remember how to play until that night. And it was just a surreal experience. I could not believe my luck. And it came full circle in last month, which is just over a month now, where I got to meet the band again. And I got to thank Satchel backstage for what he did, because that video absolutely took my following to the next level, along with a couple of Van Halen related videos. It's one of the videos that's responsible for getting me to where I'm at now, and it got me spotted by the Charvel guys. It just took everything forward, and I owe a huge debt to him. It was just an amazing experience, and Michael Starr too, not forgetting. He did a lot as well.
So the big question is, you first of all, you played Satchel's green guitar, right?
I did. That's right.
How was that guitar? How'd it feel?
I was quite staggered. Obviously used to Charvel's, but it was virtually the same as my guitars. It felt like home. It was literally, it was just like someone had handed me my guitar, and it was very, very similar. The only difference regarding setup, where I was, geez, that's weird, was how low the action was. When I play, I normally have what I think many would consider a medium action. It's not what you'd like set up for slide, where it's dead high. It's what I think many would call a medium action. And his was a lot lower than what I'm used to. I mean, so low to the point where it's just enough to eliminate any dead spots.
Yeah.
That level of low. And to be honest, when I was playing, it was almost too easy. I was almost tripping over my fingers. Yeah. But it was a great guitar.
Yeah, I remember I played one of his Kramers, the pink one with the tiger stripes on it when he was using them.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember his action being, it felt like one of my guitars, because I also have very low action. Well, Johnny has whatever action it's on.
Violin. Johnny likes violin action.
But Jay and I both like very low action.
Oh, really cool.
We like a lot of action, but on our guitars, we like low action.
Yeah.
How was this Kramer? Was it? How would that play? Say compared to?
It was great. It was. I mean, it's a pacer. It was just a wonderful guitar. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It was like a custom shop thing. You know, it was a newer guitar, but it was a very good one. It wasn't a Korean made one.
Yeah, I remember. I'm sure he admitted somewhere in a phone interview or whatever. I think if you want to find out more about bands stuff that you wouldn't see in a video, look up phone interviews and various things, places like Yeti trunk type stuff. That's where you find some real secrets. But I'm sure he admitted, I think it was a phone interview, I can't remember who with, but he said all of my Kramer pieces are made in the custom shop, the Gibson custom shop.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what he mentioned. And I could believe it. They looked absolutely amazing. I remember seeing, I think I've seen Steel Panther 6 times now. And I think it was the first show. Yeah, it was the first time we saw them. He used his whole set was Kramer's, and it was, I think the guitar he used for most of the set was his sort of the Bengal one. That I think the most common Bengal design, the sort of orange and the orange sort of burst design that a lot of people have seen.
Yeah.
And then I think that malfunctioned at one point. I think the wireless might have broken or something like that. And the pink guitar came out, and I saw that. I was totally blown away by that. And that's what got me onto these guitars. I thought neon colors are just the business. I really, really love them. And that's what got me started from there. And I thought even the graphic was brilliant. The stripes were great. It was like a zebra style, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's more zebra.
Yeah, I just thought it was excellent. Really loved it.
Yeah,
well, in the UK, they do say zebra, don't they? Because my daughter watches a lot of Peppa Pig, and it's Zoe Zebra. So, Zoe Zebra. Since Boner Jams donated $10, Johnny, whatever your name is, you have to read that. You have to read his question.
I know. It's sitting right here.
Sorry, it's me waffling on. Sorry.
No.
No.
It's pancake, not waffle.
I'm pancaking on. I'm sorry.
Boner Jams, thank you very much, man. Boner Jams is asking, what's your favorite item in the how do you say that word?
Analgesic aisle?
God.
Hang on.
I really can't read.
There are like 3 rude words in that one word.
Is that a real word? What?
I don't know.
Spell it.
Anal, Gesic.
Was anal and sick in one word.
Analgesic.
Analgesic.
I don't even know what that means. Hey Siri.
Oh no. Oh no.
What does analgesic mean?
Okay, Google.
Yeah, Dave's gonna get a lot of ads now for butt plugs and anal beads. And KY.
It's an exciting life. Technology, you can't reason with it, but it will give you everything you can possibly need.
It's I just lost it too.
Oh.
It actually meant something.
Oh, there's everybody saying it's aspirin.
Aspirin.
Everybody's saying it's aspirin.
Oh.
So what's your favorite aspirin?
The one that stops my headache.
There you go.
Tylenol for me. Cocaine.
Oh, through if there's any other.
Yeah, I'm nipping to the store. What do you need? Oh, I'm just getting some Coke. Oh, do you need a long line? Yeah, I need a long line.
And a straw. There's a long line and a short straw.
You usually get them like them rainbow straws you used to get as a kid.
Yeah.
No, I just use a guitar slide.
Oh, you get that up your nose though.
Oh well, who says I put it up my nose?
They're like that thick, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to scroll through to see if there's any other questions. Well, John BL.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say John BL wants you to. Well, you probably already do know, but tell Cameron he has a great stage presence playing with Steel Panther. He said you're a pro.
That's very kind of you. Thanks. I really, really appreciate that. That's totally amazing because I looked at myself and thought I was honestly really dorky. I mean, I'm stood next to 4 like totally ripped dudes in spandex who are absolutely just on top of their game when it comes to stage presence. I'm there all in black, invisible, and skinny as hell, going, looking around me as if to go, I've got to play this whole song and not get it wrong. But I really appreciate that. That's amazing. I tell you, that's mad. Thank you.
I think it's normal to watch videos back and be like, man, look how I'm standing there, or look at that stupid step that I took right there. Look how big my feet look in those sneakers. And
one thing I can't unsee when I watch that video, because that video, I think it's got about 80,000 views. I've watched that video about 79,000 times, and it's literally the one thing I cannot stand in that video is me. I'm just doing this ridiculous sort of trout pout face. That sort of
trout pout.
Trout pout.
That's exactly what that was too.
Face constantly, and it's just the most horrible thing to watch. And so many people commented on it as well. I thought if I did it for like one moment, fine, but it was to the point of Mick Jagger overused, and it was just oh no. But I'm glad I got through it.
So Cameron, I'm going to ask you a question. What's up with that purple Charvel?
This guy. Okay, this is my. This is one of the 2019 models. They sent me out.
2019. You mean they're out?
So, yes, they're out. This is one of the first ones that came to the UK. It got in. I think this is actually could be the one from the name show. I have no proof of that, but I know it came straight off the plane, pretty much to the door from the Charvel guys to try out. They got me started on the DK24s just to see what I thought of them, and then they thought maybe you'll like this, although I was a big San Dimas user anyway. And they sent me this one out just to see what I thought. It's an amazing guitar. The main difference with this guitar being the ebony fingerboard and the finish. It's an amazing guitar though. And one thing I was that obviously we talked about this very briefly just before we went live. I own 3 San Dimases myself that are made in Mexico, and this one being the latest installment. And despite the ebony fingerboard being the only difference, they are identical on paper, and each guitar has its own character. And one great analogy that Jay said before was that every guitar is like a snowflake. You'll never find the same one twice properly. Each one has its own unique character.
Right.
And yeah, I've been low-key working with the Charvel guys for a little while now, just to spread the name around, because they make great instruments. I really love what they do. And it's not like I've been totally sort of hammered with marketing spiel or anything like that. It was what I used anyway. Right. So I just totally love what they use, and they picked me up because I basically submitted figures saying that I was selling a load of them, and they wanted to get me on board. But it's a great guitar. Absolutely amazing.
I got to stop you right there. I need you to play the Ice Cream Man lick again that you just played.
What did I do?
You're not plugged into the THR, man. I thought you were selling Yamahas here.
I can.
Here, hang on a second. Here, wait. Plug into mine.
Oh man, we might as well. Right, I can plug it in, but it will mean I have to change channel on here. It will mean my microphone will go away for me speaking, but guitar audio will come through. So if you want me to play it very briefly, I can.
Sure.
So if you guys are game for that,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It just looked like you were playing it when you were telling us about the guitar. It looked like you were playing the Ice Cream Man lick.
Yeah, it was probably a variation on that. I play something that's I think from the beat. It's a. Anyway, I'll turn up now. Hang on. Right, I'm going to switch over to the Yamaha in a second for my audio. I think I can do that on here. Yeah, I can. I'll go away very briefly in terms of my my actual voice, but then I'll come straight back. Okay, I won't hog the airwaves too long. All right.
No, play as long as you want, man.
Okay, thank you. All right, free roam. Here we go. I'll warm up now. I haven't played for about 4 hours, so I might be a bit rusty, but here we go.
You're only 21. You can't be rusty.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnny,
podcast.
Yeah, awesome. Where's the? There you go.
That all right?
That was amazing. The single coil sound on that sounds fantastic. Actually,
Oh, it's a really true sound, a very realistic sound. Sorry, it's very, very good. I really, really love it. And it's actually this particular guitar. I don't know if it's the ebony fingerboard giving it a bit more of a toppy quality, but the single coils in the pink and the yellow I've got here. If you want me to A/B it, I can if you want, but it's a very different sound. So if you want me to very briefly show you that, there is a very evident difference. Hang on, let me just quickly go back. I'll give you a bit more of a demo of the single coil sounds. All right.
Was the Jeopardy theme song. Sounds killer, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Great.
Yep.
Can you hear a difference? When I'm playing here now, the Rapoport has got far more of a sort of toppy sound, and is a bit more of a true sound, true single coil sound. Although they are actually the same, apart from the maple board on this guitar.
Well, that's what I hear. That's the difference I hear is the maple board versus the ebony. Yeah, the maple board is a little brighter.
Yes, it is. Although I'll tell you what,
I love that color, man. That color is awesome.
I hope I'm burned out, but literally, it's just one of those funny moments, really. But yeah, there is a definite difference. So if you guys are going out trying Charvels or trying any guitars for that matter, always try out more than one of the same thing, because there can be subtle differences that just win things over for you. Just one of those fun things, I guess, about trying out guitars.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Everything changes. On same goes for pickups. You know, if you ever trying out different guitars and different pickups, always do an A/B test. That's one thing I've discovered. One of the most transforming things I've done over to one of my guitars. I'm not normally into modding guitars at all, but for this one, it was called for. I've got a Charbel Tele thing that's over here, and I modded it with Pariah pickups. Have you heard of these guys?
Yeah, yeah, we're big fans of theirs. We mention them all the time.
Yeah, they are stunning. stunning. I could not believe it. I've known Sean for a little while, and I can't remember when our conversations fully sort of started, but I was very impressed with the Pasadena humbucker he did.
Which one did you do? The white one or the red?
The one I've done here are some new ones that he's brought out. I might forget the guitar real quick. It's this guitar is a little bit bright.
It's funny. I told him you were coming on tonight, and I said I was going to ask you about those pickups in that guitar. So
yeah, in this guitar we've got some new ones for 2019, and Sean very kindly, when he sent these guitars out, he wanted to know these pickups. Sorry, when he wanted to send them out, it was how do you want them to look? And rather coincidentally, this guitar originally had Sinister Gates Invaders in, and they were just too much to be polite about it. And I in essence wanted something that was responded a bit like a JB, but probably had a little bit of a different flavor or voice to it, but also something that was a really, really sweet neck humbucker. And he was coming out with a new one that sounded like a PAF. So I was very, very interested in what he was coming up with. And these particular new ones he had in the bridge, he's got this one called the Black Heart, which is really, really good, and it responds so well. It's such a shame I didn't do an A/B test between this and the Invader, because the difference is huge. It's got so much punch and clarity, and he custom made it with the gold pole pieces as well for this guitar, which is in gold crackle. It's an unfinished sort of gold crackle paint job with it's modeled in essence on a 72 Telecaster, but is meant to, it's a bit sort of John Fiverized. It's got the locking tuners and everything else. It's just an absolute beast. I really, really love it. One of the funny touches is that this was a home build, and it's the knobs on here. They're sort of it's, I don't know what style you'd call them. They're sort of domed knobs like you'd get on any Charvel, I suppose, but they've got black tip on the top, so sort of blending with the music. Sorry,
your Telecaster knobs.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there was something specific. Obviously, you get different type of sort of knobs as such, but you get the gold on the side and then black on the top. Then you have the neck humbucker here, which whenever we were talking about this pickup in conversations online, it was always referred to as the pickup with no name, and they were thinking, well, you can't really have a pickup with no name. And I asked him, what are you going to call it? And he says, I have no idea, we'll find out at some point. And I said, how about I come up with a name for it if I hear the pickup? And he goes, if you got any names, send some suggestions across. But he said, all right, name the pickup if you like. So brilliant, sweet, but I wouldn't name it until I'd heard it.
The Cameron Cooper.
Yeah, but that's lame. But one of the ideas we had, because I couldn't think of anything that sonically, because it's got a very sort of voice. Sorry, trying to talk about pickups in a cool sort of hippie way. It responds very much like a PAF, but I couldn't think of a particular sort of one word sort of name for it. So I went straight back to sort of first principles we had, where we had the pickup with no name reminded us of the man with no name. You know, these Sergio Leone films, like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, The Fistful of Dollars, and all that stuff. So we thought, why don't we call the pickup the Leone? Because that sounds really, well, it sounds quite expensive and classy, and it goes well with Black Heart. So you've got the Black Heart and the Leone, and I thought that really, really worked. Sean liked it, and it really went down a storm. They're amazing pickups. The middle position is awesome. It gives a very Les Paul quality to it, if you like, although it's a Tele. With a Swamp Ash body, which is it's a very trebly guitar. It cuts through really well, but it works great, especially with these pickups. It's totally brought it to life. I got it done at a local tech. It's just absolutely fantastic. It's hardtail as well. I don't know if I showed you guys. It's really, really good. Action's dead low on it as well, so I'm just getting used to that. It's the lowest action I think I've felt on a guitar, apart from with Satchel Charvel. It's very, very good. I totally love it. If you'd like to hear that as well at some point, that'd be really cool. It's a great guitar. Totally love it. I actually recently, my most recent video is of this guitar and demoing the pickups, and I got a message the night after it was uploaded, because Sean's very good friends with the people with Red Dragon Cartel, Darren. the singer, and he sent me a message. Sean did, actually, in the middle of the night, saying, Jake is watching this video as we speak. And I thought he'd sent it to the wrong person at first. I thought, Jake? Jake who? I don't know anyone called Jake. And he goes, oh, Jake E. Lee. I'm like, gee, what? No way. I don't believe you. And he sent me screenshots of the chat with Darren. They just got back on the bus after a show. And he goes, oh, I've just played this video for Jake now. And you're a killer player and all this stuff. Like, shit, Jakey Lee has seen my stuff. Oh my God. I couldn't sleep. And it's just to know that Jake was watching my stuff, that was just unbelievable. I could not believe it. And I think Jake's going to be getting hold of some Pariah pickups now, but not because of me. But
oh, you know, it's because of you. It's because of you. Come on.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But yeah, it was, Sean knows Darren, so I think Jake is going to be hooked up with some Pariahs at some point, because I think Sean sees him. Well, Sean's based in Detroit, so I think it will be the Chihuahuas come to visit. Just happened to notice on camera here. Very sweet. But sorry, I'm a big dog fan. I got totally sidetracked. Sean is going to the Detroit show, and I think he's going to be hooking up Jake with some Pariahs to try out. One thing I've noticed now that Jake is using some more obscure brands, because he used to be a big user of the EVH amps, and now obviously he's still got his Charvel signature on the road. I think, I don't know, but I saw in a recent Instagram post, I think he's got the original Whitey guitar he had with him, which is the one he played, you know, at the US Festival and on Bark at the Moon and everything else. He's got a photo of two of his signature guitars with them, and one of them is distinctly older. It's got really rusty parts, it's got different bridge, and it's not Seymour Duncan's like it's in the stock model. They're all it's a different guitar in essence, so I suspect it's the original or some prototype of something else. But he's using not only potentially his original, but he's using, I think, a Friedman amp, which I'm yet to check out. You can't really get them in the UK. They're very rare. So he's using a Friedman and another obscure amp. I'm guessing you guys will have heard of them. They're very well known for their sort of early Brown sound, Van Halen sound. It's RJS. You heard of RJS? I can see some nodding head. Yeah.
I think so. I think
I'll be the guy that's an idiot now.
Yeah,
RJS.
Check out RJS. Actually, if you put them into YouTube, I can't think of, obviously Jake uses them, but I don't think there's like a proper review of them. It's just pictures of the amp and a sound demo. But man, Van Halen in a box or what? It's literally just in essence, he's making plexis, but the old-fashioned way, and with all of the original specs and parts and everything else, and they're just boutique amps, but they sound incredible, like really, really good. So no wonder he's using them. They're absolutely incredible, totally not brilliant.
Yeah, I have them. I have them on Instagram, so I see their posts. Yeah. RJS.
Yeah. I think Jake's got a red for the Red Dragonheart Tele. He's got one of the red RJS amps out on the road with him.
Look at this one. Wow, look at that one. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That's awesome.
It's a very loud guitar.
Yeah. Bon?
It's a very loud guitar.
It is, isn't it? But to be honest, I was playing there thinking, God, they're going to hear that, aren't they? But it's a yeah, it is a very loud guitar. It's also the lightest guitar I own. I could have this on my back and in a gig bag or whatever, and I wouldn't know I had it, to be honest. Like, there are some guitars that I own that weigh an absolute ton. I've got down here a Diamond by Guild, which is I think I showed that to Johnny the other night. I didn't I? Didn't I show you the Diamond, the black one that was like a 335?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
That guitar is the heaviest thing in the world. I mean, literally, I'm sure there are certain there are probably certain. I think the Stone of Scoon is lighter than than my Diamond. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it sounds phenomenal. Whereas this guitar is just uber light. I don't know if it's the Swamp Ash or whatever, but it's actually neck heavy. it's actually, I'm balancing it now on the neck joint. It's actually neck heavy.
Wow.
so it's a bit weird really to hold, but it's an amazing guitar and a really, really resonant sound. But it's just, you can hear everything.
Oh yeah.
Very, very low action. But perhaps a tad too low, but I can raise that at some point.
No.
Dead good. No, don't raise it. It's really, really good. Would you like to hear a little quick demo of these pariahs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Just fish up my cable again. I'm in a very narrow space. Just before I went live, I discovered I don't have my really long Yamaha USB cable. I left that somewhere else. I've forgotten that. But thankfully, I've got it here because I've got you guys actually coming out of the Yamaha when I hear you. So
put the distortion on.
Stereo. Giving it your full-blown Cannibal Corpse there. All right. I'm going to be mainly riffing, I think, for this one. So you guys get the full brunt of it. I'll probably play some of the stuff I put in the review as well.
Let me get my bulletproof vest on.
Okay, cool. Give me some time. I've got to change channels first.
Hey, Tessie.
Hey there.
Wow.
All set.
There we go.
That's,
So
that's awesome. Some sustain on that too.
Yeah.
Holy
That
cow.
I know, it hasn't just.
That neck
This
pickup
guitar has
to
been
me.
totally brought to life since I got these pickups put in it. The invaders were so powerful it actually sucked the sustain out. So it was just one of those. I'm warming up a little bit now as well. Before it was a bit of a cold start. It was like, oh god. But, getting in there now, it's really, really good. Well, another thing with this guitar as well, because this is actually a bit of a parts caster here. It's got a warm-off neck, but it's got the I don't want to say, or I'll say it. It's got a sort of vintage style radius. I can't remember precisely, but it's not a flat radius by any means. And you can bend for miles on it. One of the things that the tech did, he straightened the neck out, because I said I want to do some more bending on it, because before I used to bend up on it and it'd choke out after usually like a half-step bend. Not half-step bend, excuse me, a full-tone bend. And it just would choke out, dead simple. Whereas because I'm into my sort of obviously Van Halen and Jakey Lee and all these guys, I wanted a bit more than that. And what he did is he took the neck off, straightened it out, and whatever wizardry he did to it, I can now bend for miles on a vintage radius. I can do a full for miles. It's great. I don't know what he did, but it's fantastic. The guy, if there are any UK fans watching, I'm not endorsed by this guy or have any sort of full-on affiliation with him. He's just my go-to guy for this stuff. Manchester Guitar Tech, absolute wizard of a guy. And I heard a rumor that he's the guy who has worked for obviously a couple of years. I think he's worked on and off with the Gallaghers when it comes to setting up the guitars and stuff. But he's absolutely fantastic. Really, really loved his work.
Mm-hmm.
They're good.
That neck pickup sounds like a really good clarinet.
Do you reckon?
No, I'm serious. The sound of it sounds like you know what a really good horn player plays.
Oh, I know what you mean. That sort of
clarinet.
Yeah.
It's so crystal clear and it's very woody sounding. It sounds like a great clarinet.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. There was a moment when I thought, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's got a very
super smooth,
distinct mid-range.
Yeah,
and it goes so well with the black heart as well. In the middle, I don't know how well I could demonstrate. I was trying to point at the pickups to let you know what position I was in, because this doesn't have coil taps or anything like that. It's just a three-way switch. But in the middle with both humbuckers on, it's very Les Paul-y, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely.
It's really good, and I'm going to be using this a hell of a lot more now. I think, yeah, I just love it. One thing I feel if I do is I name all of my guitars, or when I say all of them, the majority of them anyway, and a lot of them have something to do with the paint jobs. Like for instance, the blue one that I showed you first, that one's called Candy, from it being Candy Blue. But also, like, I think to a lot of guys, the name Candy is it's affiliated with I don't know, a mischievous woman, so I like that.
Yeah, stripper.
Potentially. And then you get the pink one is Penelope, after Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce, the pink one. We've got a super stock Charvel, the San Dimas, which is in Sunset Orange Flake, and that is I don't think I have it at the moment, but we called that my dad named that one Tallulah. It's not my guitar, but he thought it looks exotic, it sounds exotic. Tallulah is the name, and I was just, whatever, man. Okay. And that's how that got its name. I've got Snow White in here, which is just my Snow White Soquel. That's the guitar that Gus G played on the night I saw Steel Panther. I saw my two biggest influences at the same time last month. Man, that was a big day for me. I could not believe it. It'd be legit, whoever your top two guitarists are, meeting them both on the same day. That is a fantastic but scary experience at the same time. But it was a lot of fun. I've also got down here, I can't reach it fully from here, but I've got I think it's called it's a Fernandez guitar. I know that for a fact, but the actual model itself, I think it's called the FR45. I think, I don't know, but it's I brought it out very briefly for a review, but I had one or two setup problems, and because this guitar, I'll try and reach it without falling off my stool. There we go. Yeah, got it. Right, so this guitar won't be plugged in because it's currently got a broken string. I'm yet to change it, but it's in like a Jake Burst sort of finish, which I really, really love. This was Japanese made. My brother bought it for me for my 21st, very, very kindly. But the shop we got it from sort of sold as a lemon, which was a bit naughty of them, really. But it sounded great for the bridge pick. I have no idea what it is, but it's a really sort of throaty mid-range pickup. I have no idea what it is. And these are two humbuckers here, and I don't know what they are, but they're really, really good. And it just had a couple of mild setup issues, but it came with, because this bridge, it's not actually a Floyd Rose. It's one of those sort of Fernandez designed. I don't know how well you guys can see that. It's a Fernandez designed bridge where the fine tuners are back here, and you rotate them this way. They're really strange, but it came with no tremolo bar and no locking nuts. Ooh. So we got those sorted out. A lot of, if you ever buy a secondhand Fernandez, they often come with missing parts because they're often traded and swapped around for new things. And because it's one of these, this particular guitar is sort of part of the evolution of the sort of lawsuit guitars that copied Floyd Rose's when they shouldn't have been. Say that like he was there, and it was. It's one of those guitars, and this guitar tech who mended the guitar and got everything sorted out, he repaired the pickup for it and got me sorted out with a tremolo bar and locking nuts. It's absolutely awesome. And I can't wait to get fully into this. I was so excited to get it back. As soon as I plugged it in and started to do some bends on it, the strings broke. So it was just by accident. So I'm going to get the strings back on this thing, get it ready to go. It's really, really good. One thing that's a bit odd with this, though, is it's in essence a Floyd Rose design, but I don't know if you can see I can see it now. It's tilt back headstock. So I don't know what's really going on there, but it's a cool idea, that's for sure. It's a great sounding guitar, 24 frets, and I think this guitar is either a 1990 or a 91. It's a very good guitar. Totally love it.
Dave, you have any idea what pickups would have been in that guitar?
No.
I don't think even Fernandez knew, to be honest.
Just found them and threw them in there.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much that way. Oh, shit. Where am I going to put this now?
Do you have a problem? Do you ever have an issue going back and forth between like 24 frets and 21 frets? Do you ever found yourself like going up and you're like, oh, I'm out of room, or it feels short?
I have done that before, but since owning the DK24s, it's been a lot easier. I very occasionally will get to the top of a San Dimas neck and go, oh shit, I set up this lick with the intention of reaching the 24 fret at some point, but apart from that, I don't really have any problems with it at all. It's perfectly manageable now. One thing I am thinking of doing just for fun is getting a 7-string at some point and making the jump on that just for some fun. Oh, you've got one?
Yep.
Not a Universe, or is it a Universe?
Well, it is, but there doesn't say it on it, but it's a 91. See if it's on the plate.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. No, it looks really, really good. I want to make the jump to the 7-string at some point, but it'd be getting used to the idea of having just an entire like wealth of new chords at your disposal.
Well, you know what though? It's not as crazy as people make it seem. I mean, going from a 6 to a 7 is a lot easier. Like I picked up an 8-string guitar over like last summer, and I literally was like, I felt like I never played guitar before. It was like, what am I doing? And plus the neck was as wide as like a goalie leg pad, you know what I mean? And it was just like, holy cow, you know. But you know, after playing, when I first started playing 7-strings, it took like, didn't take long before I just got used to it. If you're playing 6-string stuff, it's just, you know, it takes a little while, I guess, to forget about that low B string or however you tune it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd love to give it a crack. Well, for I'm always looking for what 7-strings are out there. I nearly bought a long time back. I want to say a long time back, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was. No, it's actually more recent than that. It was about 1.5 years ago. The Charvel San Dimas style 2 7-strings that are hardtails, and they're really, really cool. You have an ash one and a Kumi one. And I was looking to get one of those at some point to try out, but they're all gone now. But now they've come out with the Angel Vivaldi signature. I don't know if you've seen that or not. And that guitar is just class.
Yeah, the color scheme is cool. I'm usually not a fan of gold hardware, but that color scheme that he has on that guitar, it actually looks really cool.
Yeah, I love it. And actually, he was an Ibanez guy as well, wasn't he, for a long time?
I don't know.
Yeah, he used a one-off Ibanez 7-string I've forgotten the name of it. It wasn't a Universe.
Like a
although I
RG,
know he had
probably.
one.
RG series.
Yeah, I think if you were to search him on YouTube, look for the track "Sea of Heartbreak," and he's using. You'll love it. Obviously, Ibanez fan, you will love this guitar. It's got the most amazing flame top on it you've ever seen, and it's got. I think it's a bit of a mishmash of two sort of 7-string Ibanezes that have been sort of merged into one, where you've got a custom shop body, and I would suppose another custom shop neck. But it's got different colored hardware on it, like a gold bridge, but a black locking nut and stuff like that. It's some kind of some attention has been paid to the aesthetics of that hardware, and it's a really cool guitar. I'll give it that. Although I did own an Ibanez for a long time, I don't have one anymore. But it was. It was along those lines. It's I love one thing that Ibanez really nailed. It was releasing limited ranges of guitars or limited numbers of a certain model that were so wacky, or have certain colors that you just would never see again. Like there's a particular YouTuber, I'm guessing you guys know him, Steve from Boston.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got his RG 560s and 550s. And I really love there's a particular one he reviewed. I thought I would love that guitar. And it was I think an RG 560, but in grape ice.
Ooh.
That sounds interesting.
Just to say I own a guitar with a grape ice finish, I'm running over. You get a finish that just oozes class just from its name. Like there was another one that it was Back to the Angel with Oldie a second. They were doing they let it out to the public, like vote for the finish you want on the signature guitar. And the particular finish it's in now is Sage Metallic Mint Green.
Yes.
And then you think, wow, right? But the finish that came second place was called Lucerne Aqua Fire Mist. Oh, I can see the look on Jay's face. It was just that.
Wait, are you saying they voted on the actual finish or just the name of the finish?
No. They voted on different finishes, and Sage Metallic Mint Green won, but the second place sort of contender finish that they were going to choose instead was called Lucerne Aqua Fire Mist. It looks so much better, but it was they basically gave the fans a choice of finishes for what would be on the new model, and Sage Metallic Mint Green won, but the one that came second was Lucerne Aqua Fire Mist, and I think the name had a large. Was a contributing factor to that. Just to say I have a guitar in Lucerne Aqua Fire Mist, it's just
should be the name of his new album.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? Check out my new prog album. It's Lucerne Aqua Fire Mist. Buy it now.
So, Cameron, let's talk strings and picks.
Go for it.
What do you use?
Picks wise, I use it's constantly changing. I don't know if I've really hit home on my favorite yet, but one thing I've always gone back to, sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm a big user of Jazz 3s. I found I think it might have been about 4 years ago, I was in a music shop. I found on an amp this very spiky compared to what would be a Tortex pick I always used, a very spiky looking Jazz 3 XL on this amp, and it was made out of a funny material. Obviously, it's
looks like
funny what I was used to, and
looked like your hand was huge when you held that up. I'm sorry,
yeah,
those little picks look funny. It's like, you know,
I don't actually have big hands, full enough. It's like, oh god, I just caught sight of myself on a little screen down here. They do, yeah, they do look pretty big, don't they? But so I've got a Jazz 3 XL here, and also I love the Eric Johnson Jazz 3s, the small ones. Yeah, and they're really, really good. But when I first tried out the Jazz 3 shape, it was almost an element of, where's this been all my life? There's an element where you can I've never really had to think about it, but there's an element of accuracy that I've never had until now with a Jazz 3, I've done it's obviously it's to do with the actual grip of it, the way and the point. And the point never really seems to wear out on these, not fully. And I think it's one of the few designs where the more you wear it in, the better it feels. If that's true, I don't know. It seems to be that way. And I've recently tried out, Philip, I've got the Tortex Jazz 3 1mm, which is the Gus G one. It might focus in a sec with the hologram design on it.
Sure. Andy Timmons used the same pick as that.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
Show it again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It should focus, hopefully. Maybe not, I don't know. But it's a really, really cool pick. I'll show you the other ones as well. That's an Eric Johnson one. Then flip it around. Hang on. It's not adjusting focus. Sorry about that. No. But it's but those are those. And then got an XL down here that's been worn to hell. And another pick I love to use on rare occasion is there's a particular pick. It's a satchel one. You can only seem to get these at the shows. You can't buy them anywhere else. And it's this one. That is a there you go, adjusted focus. Then it's a Tortex, but it seems to have, because it's a got a sort of, that would be its face, but I've worn it off. It's got a sort of graphic on it.
Yes, I got that. I've got a few of those.
The Steel Panther ones,
yeah, from him, yeah.
They feel different, don't they?
Yeah.
There's somehow they glide through strings, and I think it's something to do. There's this. It's not true Tortex, certainly not like this, which is really, really grippy, which is fine. But this one's got some kind of I don't know what you call it, like a stamp or some kind of thin layer over the top, like a film or a resin or something. I don't know, but there's something different about the way it feels. It grips perfectly. I don't know about the thickness of these satchel picks. Do you know, Dave? What the?
You know what? I don't know. It's probably 1
mil or something like that. But
what's the next one up? 1.15 or 1. I
think it's 1.15. But
yeah,
this
that's what that is.
I know this is a 1 mil, and this one I think is the satchel one is just a tad thicker. Yeah, so I think it's a 1.1, and it's really, really good, and it's obviously it's got that sort of point to it. It's the same sort of standard shape. It's not a jazz shape, and it just feels brilliant. I never thought picks would really vary, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Have you tried it? Go ahead. Go ahead. No. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I was going to try, I've heard a lot of people, as soon as they do try it, they never go back from it, are Dragonheart Picks. Have you heard of those?
No.
I've heard of them.
They look really weird. They are from, I first saw them, I think Pixie, or at the time, Pixie Licks used them, or picked up on them, and Robert Baker, and they were a really weird shape. They're like a, it's hard to describe, but they have a proper like contour. They're almost like they've got like a proper spike. It's like a tooth shape, and the actual base of them is literally like a broken heart. Like in the like the game Operation, where it looks a bit like the heart in that, the broken heart in that, except it's got more of like a point, a spike coming out the front. And apparently they're absolutely amazing, and they're made of I don't want to say stone, but a rock solid plastic, I should say, that pretty much never wears. The only side effect I think I've heard with them is that because it's, I don't know how true this is because I don't own one, but because they're so solid, not necessarily thick, but apparently yes, you've got it.
They look like that.
Yeah.
Focus. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, but apparently they're so solid that they pretty much wear through your strings. They cut through. And I don't know. That's something I've heard in comments and forums, but obviously, what do I know? Experience only tells, doesn't it? But yeah, that's what I use picks wise.
Have you tried the Dava picks?
Dala, did you say?
Dava.
Dava. Sorry. I've heard of them, and I like that design. I have to say, I saw the design and went, "Ooh, hey." Yeah, I'll have to give them a go. Can you get them in the UK?
Yeah, I bet you can. I bet you can.
Yeah, I'll check them out. Definitely.
They're very similar to the Jazz 3 Point.
Yeah.
They don't really wear out, and the black part is rubber, so it won't fall out of your hands.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll check. So it's
really
Dava, D-A-V-A.
D-A-V-A. Yes.
Sweet, I'll check them out for definitely. Yeah, may I ask? They're not too expensive, are they?
I don't
Just
think
curious.
so. I don't think so. I think they're maybe $4 US for a pack of 5 or 6.
Oh, brilliant! The only reason I say that is I was made aware of a company called Red Bear. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, they're really expensive.
Yeah, I googled them, thinking I thought, oh, Red Bear are really cool. I think Guthrie uses Red Bear picks, and they look like buttons, like jacket buttons with the holes in. And I thought, oh, they look fantastic, really, really classy. I saw it was like 50 quid for a pick. I was like, shit. How much can they vary, you know? But so that's the only time ever since I discovered Red Bear, I actually look at the price of picks now. Like, are they expensive? But yeah, so that's the picks that I use. So Jazz 3, Tortex, and generally whatever feels nice. So I'm not too fussy, I suppose. And when it comes to strings, I've got some in here, wherever they may be.
G string.
Yeah, Hunter. How do you? Oh, no, my secret's out. I'm sorry, guys.
Look at this. There's the red bear.
Yeah.
Red bear picks. They look like that.
Yeah,
look
Pretty
don't
cool.
they're very similar to Jazz 3s.
Yeah, I use when it comes to strings, I use Elixir Optiwebs. Elixir Cliff. I actually the same again with strings. I always thought, how could they vary? You know, what's the huge difference? Since it is what your hands are on most of the time. So I've got those. They're really, really cool. I used for the longest time Ernie Balls and Roto Sound, and maybe with the exception of Didario, but they're absolutely awesome. These are coated. These particular Optiwebs are sort of the latest sort of reincarnation of their strings, and Elixirs, I think their whole sort of idea is to keep the tone the same, but just for ultimate endurance. And because I play guitar a hell of a lot, I was going through strings constantly. And at the time, I was going through so many sets of strings, and I wasn't particularly good at the time of changing strings. It was just something I wasn't particularly good at. And I saw anything to avoid the pain of going through string changing again, where competence goes out the window. I thought I need a solution to this problem. And I tried Elixirs out, and I did a little promo video for them. And Performer magazine picked up on it. They're really good friends with sort of Gore Media and Gore Products, and they got me hooked up with the guys at Elixir. And I put out a track with them called Elixir of Life, where I play these strings and give them a full sort of road test. But anyway, I'm sidetracking. These particular strings, I don't know what the actual coating is, but the nickel plated silver. And they have each of their strings are designed to have a different feel. Like you get the polyweb, which is warm and I am reading the back of the packet. I'm sorry, but it's true. They absolutely did nail it. Warm, slick, and fast for polywebs. Bright and smooth for nanoweb, which I haven't tried. And these Optiwebs, they do have a very good point. There is a Dalmatian in the room. I am totally distracted. But there we go. So we've got crisp and natural for the Optiwebs, and they have almost like a rough texture when you first try them out. They're really, really good, but they last forever. I mean, they last for ages, and I can't seem to break them. I've never broken one, and I normally like to give the strings hell. But just from road testing, obviously the Ernie Balls and whatever, which I did break a fair bit. No fault of Ernie Ball. I think it's just the design, and also Didarios. These are awesome. I really, really love them. I had a set on my orange, excuse me, my Snow White Soquel down here. That was set up with 10s. I use 9 to 42s for the majority of the guitars, but a couple of others I use 10s. And that particular guitar, I had 10s on it that were perfect. Like I just put them on, and it lasted. And I played that guitar every day. It lasted for heading on for 9 months.
Jesus!
Wow.
And they were.
I don't keep anything for 9 months. I don't keep guitars for 9 months.
Desiree, watch her out.
Literally, they're just awesome. I really, really love it. And yeah, they've got me on these for the moment. They're absolutely brilliant. I can't recommend them enough. They're brilliant. And as I say, I went into it totally and utterly. This is going to sound awful. Totally and utterly string skeptic. Like, come on, they can't vary that much, but they really do. They're brilliant. I have to say, they're fantastic, and that's not sort of brainwashed, you must promote us stuff. That's dead true. They're brilliant. I absolutely love them.
Very cool.
Fantastic. Give them a try if you haven't already.
Everybody type in the chat if you're gonna give them a try, because Cameron just told you to.
Yeah. If I have that sort of influence on people, I'm going to worry myself, to be honest. So I have the power.
Well, no, you're right, though. I mean, I think most guitar players, when they're starting out and even a couple years in, it's like, oh, whatever strings, I don't care. I'll just go to the store and grab whatever, and then you start to realize, like, what, this brand, they seem to die a little faster. And, what strings agree with your body chemistry and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, and just what feels right to you. So,
yeah, true. So I'm just reading the track right now just to see if anyone did. I already use Elixir. I used Elixirs on my acoustic. Ernie Balls until I die. Fair enough. You've just got to read the names on the back of the packet. So that's the only sort of war that no one can win. To be honest, can you imagine being an artist that's on the back of the packet? Just
cool.
to be on the back of the packet would be a cool thing.
Yeah, I'd say. I don't care if it's the worst string on the planet.
Yeah.
If I change my name to Eddie Van Halen, will that count? I'll have my name on like all this gear.
You could just that's who they are. Hey, sorry. So hey, I'm Eddie.
I own all this stuff.
Yeah. Deceive everyone.
Wow,
that's a cool Wolfgang.
Thank you.
Sorry. Alex, is that a US one? Yeah, it looks like it.
Is. It is. It's a 2009 US quilt maple top.
Awesome.
I just got it a couple weeks ago, actually.
Brilliant.
And it's wonderful, wonderful guitar.
I believe that. I have to say,
I've had a few of these. I've had a few of these guitars. US ones, and this one is my favorite of the bunch so far. I've had the ebony fretboard ones, and the stealth. I've had pretty much every one of them, and this one is my favorite one so far.
Yeah, they look amazing, and I thought that particular Wolfgang, the Sunburst one, is it Tobacco Burst? I think they call it.
Yeah, I think this is. Well, I don't know if they. Yeah, I guess it's called Tobacco. It's more
it doesn't look very tobacco-y, but that's EVH's fault for like misleading. No, I'm kidding. It's a great looking guitar, but the
it wouldn't be a Tobacco Burst anymore. It would be a Vape Burst, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Vape Burst.
Yeah. Yes, it's a gorgeous looking guitar. But yeah, that was the first Wolfgang I ever played. That particular one, I loved it. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I think that was the first guitar with a Floyd Rose I ever played as well, before Charvel came along. I must have been. I can't remember it that well. I just remember being very, very impressed. And at the time when those new Wolfgangs came out, all I wanted was that white one, the cream one.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I only ever saw one. I never played it, but I only ever saw one. I thought, man, I love that guitar. And when Van Halen went back on tour in 2007, that was the guitar I think I saw him with in all of the press shots.
Yeah.
And I thought, geez, that looks cool. And I thought, even in all of the promo photos, that even when they weren't at gigs, there's a particular photo of him sat on top of, I think it's like an old Cadillac or something of that ilk, where he sort of sat there leaning back with this sort of white Wolfgang, but it's got the his EVH sneakers on as well. I
Yeah,
thought,
sure.
man,
Yeah.
even goes with the shoes.
I think he's wearing a white shirt, like a white shirt in that.
Yeah, you've seen that.
When I bought some of those shoes from Van Halen store,
Yeah.
VanHalenStore.com. There you go.
Yeah.
When I bought a pair of those shoes from them, they sent me that photograph in the package of him sitting on the car holding the guitar with the shoes. And like I think the picture is like in black and white and those shoes are in color.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I think that's probably right. That's where I remember it, I think.
Yeah.
But I've got a pair of those shoes as well. But it's one of those moments where you think, God, a guitar is that classy, it goes with your shoes. You know you're on to a winner.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you can only have the Bumblebee sneakers to to get away with it, if that makes sense. This particular one, this is actually a limited edition, Wolfgang. It's the one with the Tune-o-matic, as opposed to the this guitar isn't mine. It's very, very good, I have to admit. I don't play it too much, not through neglect. It's just I just play the Charvels a little more. Really, really great. But apparently with this guitar, they only made 50 of them. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I was told. With the Tune-o-matic, it's one of those limited edition ones, and it's just with the hey,
beautiful guitar.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's only one thing with a Wolfgang that annoys me, and I don't know if you've come across this, but when you're winding the G string up here, have you noticed that it knocks into the top of the headstock here?
Sometimes, yep.
Yeah, I thought that was the only thing where I thought, because I was finding that, I think because I'm used to a Strat headstock, I might have been fighting with my own muscle memory there, but it was there was an element of really, like, I was like, is this actually a design flaw or what? But
that's why you got to get a drill. You got to get a drill string winder.
Yeah. They wind them in seconds, don't they? It's just
it's crazy. Well, you say that's not yours, huh?
No, this one isn't mine. This is my dad's. This one.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say if it was like a friend's or something, in America, isn't like possession is 9/10 of the law. I don't know the laws over there, but hey.
Very good. I like what you did there. Very good. It's a great guitar. I love it. Very light again, and it's got the really, really proud sort of arch top on it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, the arch top's cool, man.
I heard the stripe graphics on these were done by hand as well. Like you get the computerized template, but when it came to putting the stripes on, it's all done by hand.
Yeah,
I heard.
It's not a
I think Philip McKnight did some research on that.
They're all painted. Yeah, they're all painted.
Yeah. So here's mine. I like my Action Solo, Cameron, that you can't even see the strings, dude.
Oh wow.
That's how low my Action is.
Wow, did you play a chord as well with no strings on?
Yeah. I tried swapping necks on this one and that one because I prefer the stainless steel vintage over the jumbos, but they just, like, how you talk about before, every guitar feels different and all that stuff. Like that guitar felt terrible with this neck on it, and this guitar felt terrible with that neck on it. Just didn't, there was like the resonance wasn't there anymore, and it just didn't have the same oomph. So I was like, I'm switching them back, man. So
yeah, brilliant. There's something about as well when you get an ebony board like on that one and the black headstock as well that just suits. I love that. It's a similar effect with Ibanez's where you get the black headstock. I love that. It reminds me of a bit of like it might be a graphite neck or something. Not that none of it is, but you know what I mean. Just the look of it. I'll tell you a guitar. Just to drift off on a tangent for a second. I was just totally and utterly shocked when I found out. A really great player, Brad Gillis. Obviously,
I love Brad.
Awesome, isn't he? And I happened to be watching an instructional video, and I clicked on it just out of curiosity because I'd never heard the guy speak or anything. And he starts to talk about his 62 Strat, the one he played with Ozzy, and it's the guitar he still uses now, the one with the first Floyd Rose on it, and not the first Floyd Rose, but the first type of Floyd Rose anyway. And I could not believe the modifications he's done to that guitar. Well, I mean, everything, like obviously the neck was excluding all of the aesthetic things he did, like obviously painting the neck and everything else, but all of the wireless stuff he did to it, the fact that he cut cavities out and revamped pickups and the Floyd Rose itself, all the little changes that he did. I mean, that is a guy who knows his shit when it comes to modifying stuff. And also the fact that he had the confidence to do it as well. I wouldn't dream of doing that. I'm so scared to touch anything. Says he who's just put pariah pickups in a guitar. But it's just one of the... when it comes to modifying guitars to that extent, terrifies me. I think it's because I'm a very untechnical guy when it comes to actually mending things and putting things back together. That's where I fall down in a big way. I can do many things with my hands, play guitar being my selling point, but putting things together and the whole constructive thing is not my strong point at all. So I think that's why I really fear modern things. It probably might explain why I was crap at changing strings for years as well. But it was just one of those things. So yeah, if anyone hasn't seen that Brad Gillis instructional video, he goes through some great stuff, but check out the little brief moments where he goes through his gear and especially the guitar talk. It's just awesome.
I've seen him play that guitar in a tiny little club because we used to live in the same town, you know, and I went to a show. It was called, he was in this band in the 70s called the Alameda All Stars, because they're based in Alameda, California. And I went to this show, and this was probably, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And he was playing that guitar. And I couldn't believe I was standing right in front of him, watching him play that thing. And I'm like, brilliant. That's the guitar, you know?
Yeah. It looks amazing as well. I bet it's absolutely battered to hell.
It is. It absolutely is. You know, the coolest part of that is the story behind it, where it was all parts, and the fact that he traded a Les Paul Custom for that Floyd Rose and the labor to put it on that guitar. It's crazy.
And he forged his career with that. Yeah,
and he played that one guitar until he started playing Fernandez. But
yes,
but even now, he's still playing it now. It goes with him. He plays a Fernandez that looks like it a lot, but he plays that guitar a lot as well.
Yeah, I think he had a Fernandez signature very briefly, didn't he?
Yeah, he still has it. That's what he uses.
Yeah. I'm sure. It was when my Fernandez was at a Guitar Tech. I happened to go online very briefly just to see what Fernandezes were out there, because if anyone ever wants a cheap rock guitar that's Japanese made and is overall very high quality, if you can't afford something like a Charvel or an EVH or whatever it may be, Fernandez are an amazing place to start, because they made so many of them. You can buy them cheap as chips now, and they're absolutely ace. And I happened to catch sight of a Brad Gillis signature guitar. I'm like, oh, that's very nice. That Bumblebee, that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I would do the first Floyd Rose on it as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hang on, is that an actual Charbel art series?
No, it's not an art series. It's a parts guitar, but the body is from a 1979 San Dimas.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's the original San Dimas.
Very good. Anyway, I was just about to say, I caught sight of a Brad Gillis signature Fernandez on eBay for $3,000. Like, God.
Yeah, they're expensive. They're really expensive now. They're okay. They're pretty good guitars.
Yeah, but it's is it a wireless guitar, or is it actually built to his specs?
I don't think so. I think it's just a guitar. I don't think it's wireless.
Yeah, because everything he did to make his guitars wireless wherever he went. I mean, that's next level technology stuff. That not necessarily on the technological front, just in terms of the way of thinking. Like, I'm going to make a wireless guitar. I mean, he's got his head screwed on when it comes to technology.
Yeah,
excellent.
So, how you doing? Can you do another couple hours?
Oh my God! Look at the time.
Yeah, we did it, man. We usually do 2 hours.
Well, before we go, hold on. I wanted to ask you.
On a date?
Yes.
Buy me a flight ticket and I'll head over.
Since we've all got like Van Halen guitars sitting here,
Yeah.
What's your like favorite Van Halen record?
My favorite Van Halen record, and God, from both periods or just my top number one?
All right, hold on. Give me one from each era, and then you can give. Then you got to answer the desert island. One? Yeah, the island. You know.
All right. The my favorite Dave Roth with Van Halen album is 1984. I think it's because it's what I heard first. It's got all the hits I sort of grew up with on it, and grew up listening to anyway. Then you get the exceptions of Fair Warning, Van Halen 1, and Women and Children First. I'd sort of delve into sort of little sort of pockets from Van Halen albums and take things off. But the one where I like everything on it is 1984, and then the Van Hagar, if you like, the Van Hagar album I really love has to be Balance. I love Balance so much. I think it's because I actually heard all the Van Hagar stuff first, and I think that all comes down. You know, I mentioned my dad had a Music Man Axis, and he actually had the Music Man Van Halen for a while as well. But he had one in rose pink.
Oh wow!
Which is I've seen one photo of him with it, and what was so sad to see. Well, sad to see, but in some ways a relief to see as well. That very same guitar appeared in a shop in Birmingham, which isn't too far from me, for sale. Wow. The very same guitar appeared, and it's in great condition still. And it was my dad's pink Axis. His pink
EVH.
EVH. It was just a really real pleasure to see that. But I think because of that and seeing those guitars, I love the Balance album. And to go back to the question, a Desert Island Van Halen album would probably be Balance. And then everyone's going, what? Everyone's going to kick off now.
No, that's, you know.
I did a video. It's one of my most popular videos called my top 5 Van Halen riffs, and so many people were annoyed at how many Balance riffs there were in there. Because I think it's good. Obviously, yeah, I think when it comes to Van Halen, you're either into the Dave Roth stuff or the Van Hagar stuff. Not really much of both, but I love both. And but the Van Hagar stuff I happen to really like. I think there's something about the guitar tone, songs and lyrical content perhaps not so much. I mean, you can't touch the Dave songs in terms of wit, humorous, the way they're sung, and just for the time they were brilliant. And I still love them a lot. But a lot of people seem to think from that video that I love the Van Hagar stuff, therefore that means I hate the Dave Roth stuff. So I ended up putting up a video where I played all of my favorite Dave Roth videos. But there's a lot of 1984 riffs I'd love to have included in that video, but they didn't make it onto that. But one of my favorite Van Halen riffs, it's probably my favorite. You know, we talked about Desert Island records and stuff like that. My favorite Van Halen riff of all time is Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Well, I don't know why. I think everything, the solo and the way it's played, it's just my jam. I love it. It's one of my favorite ones that he did, and the guitar tone's fantastic. Love it.
That whole record's great. I mean, the sound on that whole record is just amazing.
Yeah. Do you prefer Van Halen 1 or Van Halen 2?
Van Halen 2. I'm not.
Yes. So do I.
I'm gonna lose. People are gonna lose a lot of respect in me. Well, if they already haven't already, but I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about the sound of the guitars on the first record. It's really distorted, and it's got way too much reverb on it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I really like the warmer sound of Van Halen 2. Just like it better.
Did you see the? This is gonna sound weird coming from me, but did you see the Howard Stern interview, or read about it at least, of the Howard Stern interview with Eddie Van Halen, where Eddie Van Halen says Jimi Hendrix was nothing but effects?
Yeah,
what?
I've seen
that.
Says
the guy who used a phaser for all of his first and second album.
Yeah, I think Eddie was a little nutty that day.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is you gotta. I had Van Halen 1 on the other night, and when you put into perspective when that album came out, 1978. I mean, you know, the beginning of Atomic Punk. Like, no one was doing anything like that type of stuff then. I mean, just so many riffs and so many little things he was doing. Like, you just got to put into perspective. Like, nobody was doing anything like that when he, you know, made that record. So, I mean, holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely amazing. Total not a game changer. I think one thing Steve Vai said, there hasn't really been a game changer like that since Eddie. You've got Jimi Hendrix, and then there's Eddie, and that's about it. Just after that, it's just really great players.
Right.
Which brings me on to a question I wanted to ask you guys. Obviously, we're all Van Halen fans, and we're all fans of taking the guitar forward and really loving how it progresses. But are there any guitar players who are, if you like, in the now that are not necessarily up and coming, but have arrived and are very much on the scene now, that particularly impress you or up there with your favorites? Do you have any particular choices of the current guitarists?
Do we have to flip a coin or something before somebody talks? Like,
I'll go first.
Go for it.
Joe Bonamassa.
Brilliant. I love his stuff. I love Drive by him. You know, have you heard that track? And Mountain Climbing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Blues of. I'm going to get it wrong now. Blues of Desperation, I think it's called. The album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was freaking out for a sec, thinking, "Don't say something wrong." But yeah, I love that album. It's fantastic.
I just think his playing gets better every time, and he does less every time he comes out. Like, I think he's finally gotten over the Eric Johnson thing that he does.
Yeah.
And he's using a little bit more of his own thing now, which is a culmination of, I would say, probably what's his name from Free.
Oh, let's say.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I do know. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
You know, hey, fucko, you know who I'm talking about. No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, just, you know, like his whole thing is more himself these days than trying to cop every, you know, Eric Johnson lick, which I think he's finally grown up.
Yeah, definitely.
Paul Kossoff, that's right. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So, what about you, Jay? What are your favorites now?
You know, one of my favorites to listen to now. And he is a little older because he had such a long layoff. Yeah. But I would have to say Thomas McLaughlin. I mean, just watching his videos and listen to his latest EP and some of this other stuff he's doing.
McLaughlin,
like, synth shred, I think he's dubbed it.
Yeah.
Just his guitar playing is so just unique, and I love the way he plays. Like, he's not one of those guys that, you know, you see some of these Instagram guitar players who are phenomenal, but you know, they're like very, you know, not a lot of movement, very just like delicate, but they can shred their butts off. Yeah, but McLaughlin's one of those guys, man. Like, he attacks those strings and you know, just amazing. So I would probably have to say him. Yeah,
he's brilliant. I'm yet to check out his latest EP. It's called New Beginnings, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I'm yet to have a proper look into that. Actually, I really can't wait because I love his stuff, and I find him very funny as well. I love that. My favorite one he did was where he's playing and his hands caught fire. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Yep.
And talk of a guy who knows how to build a following. I started following him. I think he had 20,000 followers on Instagram, and then I went back and checked properly. Obviously, having seen his feed progress, I went back and actually went through his profile not too long ago, and I think he just hit 80,000 followers. I'm like, shit.
He's up to like 120 something thousand now.
I know. I mean, talk of a guy who built a following from scratch so quickly.
It's crazy. It seems like he's on Instagram all day posting video. How are you that good at guitar, dude? you're on Instagram all day.
Talk of a guy who's nailed it. Yeah. He's just smashed it. What about you, Johnny?
I think for me, I've always kind of said this. There was Jimi Hendrix, okay, and then there was Eddie Van Halen, and then there was Tom Morello.
Wait a second.
I think
you missed the question.
No, it wasn't like it was like guitar players now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Tom Morello was counting.
Tom Morello.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's still going. Still going. I think he's
very good. I love his guitar playing. That goes without saying. But I'm very impressed by his bravery on social media. Very outspoken politically. Have you noticed?
Well, he's always been.
I hate
that. He's always been like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I've only really latched onto it in the last couple of years, and I thought, man, if a Brit said that, well, there's an element of if one of us said that or whatever. He's just I really on the internet. He's fantastic and a brilliant player, and really respect that guy. He's fantastic.
Yeah, to me, it's like, I don't know. I follow musicians and sports people, whatever, because I like what they do. And I know everybody has an opinion, whether it be political, religious, whatever. And it's fine to kind of maybe talk about it if you want, but the whole like forcing it down your throat thing, and
I'm with Jay.
To me, that's a huge turnoff. I do not like it at all.
I'm with Jay on that.
Yeah. To be honest, I agree. Yeah, you're right. Do you want who my favorite players are?
No, we're done. We're done.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Of course, man. Please name yourself, because that would make me pee my pants.
Tell you some players you've got to check out. Have you heard of Pliny?
I've heard of Good and Plenty.
Like Pliny the Elder, but definitely check out. Literally, if you're into, to be honest, I wouldn't normally say this, but I do dabble on the progressive side of metal from time to time.
Yes.
And obviously, Angel Vivaldi's up there with one of my favorites at the moment. But Pliny, oh my god, if you listen to his EP, Handmade Cities, I've never heard guitar playing like it. And in terms of instrumental playing, it's just so ethereal, atmospheric, and technical, and there's so much feel. And one thing that was really amazing about it is it's all done. Holy shit! I just saw your guitar collection.
Oh yeah, I have quite a few.
But the he literally on Pliny's recent. He's got another EP coming out at the moment, I think. But he's from
right here.
That's correct. Yep, plays Strambo. Listen to his EP, Handmade Cities. It's just the guy he's better at Steve Vai than Steve Vai in terms of techniques. He's absolutely fantastic, and he's also, if this tops it off, he's Australian, so he's a character. It's fantastic, really, really cool. Hang on a minute, is that Robert Pattinson stood behind you, Jay?
Yeah.
I just caught. I just noticed.
It's my wife's. It's my wife's.
It's my wife's. Now or never. Isn't that a John Bon Jovi song?
Yeah,
I think so.
It was a Desmond song. I think Desmond did that one.
But it's okay. I cut out a hole below his belt, and I stand behind it. Cool.
And nothing comes out.
Nothing. Yeah, it's just an empty hole. So Jeannie's like, "Where is it?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
It's for your vagina.
Oh.
Anyway, so you're talking about, how do you say his name? Pliny?
Pliny, yes.
Pliny. Okay. I added it to my Spotify, so I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah. Literally, I could not believe that stuff. I discovered it by default, by a suggestion, I think, on YouTube. I thought, what could this be? To be honest, it was the album artwork that lured me in, which is, you can't really say that now, really, would you, with everything, all the streaming and everything, but it was the album artwork that lured me in. And I was totally blown away. And funny enough, when you I'm guessing you've seen some of the album artwork now, scrolling through Spotify, it does not suggest the music that is on that EP. It's all instrumental, and it's really, really good. My personal favorite is Inhale off that album.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It's to be honest, the track really suits its title, but also the feel I think, of the guitar licks in that, and the way the solos are constructed and the way it's all done is just brilliant. It's very, very good. It's very busy as well. If you're not the easy listening type, well, it's right up your street. But it's very, very good. Anyway, I'll stop waffling now, or pancaking, as Dave said.
Hey, you know who else is great? Nick Johnston. But I joined one of his live streams one day, and he was doing a Q&A, and I asked him a question, and I guess he didn't like my question, and the way he answered it kind of turned me off, and I was like, I haven't listened to him since.
Well, I mean, come on. Your question was like, who the F do you think you are?
No, not at all. No. You know what? I'll be quick about this, because I have a serious problem with a lot of the instrumental guitar players nowadays, because I feel a lot of them, they program their own drums, and they really don't know how like drummers play for it, to kind of get right to the point. And I listen to a lot of this stuff. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to do that. But I hear a lot of it, and I'm like, man, if they only either had a real drummer play it or hired somebody that like knew how to program drums to make them sound like a drummer actually played them. And his albums, the drums are amazing. I think he actually has a real drummer play everything. And I asked him, basically saying like, I wish more guitar players would blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, kind of just, I don't know. He kind of blew me off, but maybe he just didn't want to sound like a jerk saying, yeah, I agree with you. But, whether or not he was being whatever, he's an amazing guitar player, and check his stuff out too, because he's really good.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, really good. Oh, man. Sorry,
Johnny?
Yeah. Is that it?
Are we good? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is that a Frankenstrat replica? Just very quickly.
Well, it is, but it's one that me and a buddy of mine made. It's actually more correct than the Fender.
Yeah.
More correct than the real one.
No, it's not more correct than the real one, but it's more correct than the Fender replica.
He wishes it was.
With the backburns and everything. Yeah. Brilliant.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna let you go, man. I know it's after
Thank
3.
You.
After 3.
I'll tell you what. I said this to Johnny last night when we did the test call. I remember when I said every time I go live, it's like you might as well press a yawn button. I've not yawned once. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I tell you what, because I was saying to Johnny, we were joking yesterday, like you can't hide a yawn when you're live. And I'm so relieved I got through this yawn free after.
You took a nice nap beforehand, so you're good.
That's true. I did. I'm glad I didn't miss the stream. But yeah, brilliant.
Well, where can everybody find you on social media, or Instagram and YouTube and all that good stuff?
On YouTube, it's just my name, Cameron Cooper. And a lot of people used to get me mixed up with a Canadian ice hockey player, but not so much now. And on Instagram, it's at GuitarmanCam. I'm not on Facebook at the moment, and I don't really have anything else. So it's just YouTube and Instagram. So GuitarmanCam for Instagram and Cameron Cooper for YouTube. So awesome. Yeah, thank you very much.
And I sent you a picture. I DM'd you a photo that I found on my phone.
I haven't got the phone on me at the minute. I'll check it out in a minute.
What kind of picture did you send them?
You'll dig it. You'll think it's cool.
It's of his pinky.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Okay. All right, Cameron. Great talking to you, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers so much, guys.
Great time. And David Nesdahl, good to see you.
Yes, good to be seen.
Jay Hannon.
Should I do this instead?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Oh. Goodness. All right, everybody. I heard that.
We got to act all goofy now because
now we're just a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. johnnybeanetv.
Stick around for a second, Cameron.
No.
All right. Good night.
Good night.